even if people did you wrong, at some
Mm-hmm.
point in life, you need to start taking responsibility. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's knowing what you want, which of course we said that. Then it's how to set goals,
Mm-hmm.
using affirmations and visualizations,
Mm-hmm.
setting boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
uh, saying how to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole set of tools that you can use, and I use them on one-on-one coaching in workshops,
Mm-hmm.
and you can use them either for personal or for corporate training.
Myrto Mangrioti is a certified teacher of presence, deep transformational coach, Canfield Success Principles trainer, RIM Essentials facilitator, and the upcoming author of As I Am: How to Stop Overthinking and Start Being. For decades, Myrto tried to live up to what she thought others expected of her. A lifelong overthinker and perfectionist, she kept striving to be the good girl, chasing approval and control, but no matter how much she achieved, she still felt empty and unfulfilled. At 49, burnout, anxiety, and a growing sense of disconnection made her stop and ask the question that began her awakening: is this all there is? That question marked a turning point. Through the practice of presence and self-inquiry, she found peace, purpose, and a new way of living, one rooted in authenticity rather than achievement. Today, she guides spiritually curious women through midlife transitions, burnout recovery, and reconnecting with their spark and sense of purpose. Vegan, nature lover, and cat mom of 3, she believes life isn't a test to pass, but a playground to explore with curiosity, compassion, and presence. Thank you so much, Myrto, for being on the show. I'm so excited to have you here. This is such a wonderful introduction. I always like to have my guests kind of tell their own story and their own journey, and then we'll kind of like see where the road takes us in terms of the discussion from there. So why don't you give us a little bit more of an in-depth discussion of you and your journey?
Well, you said a bit. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. You said a few bits in the introduction,
Mhm.
but yes, my story is that of a good girl and a people pleaser, and
Mhm.
I was like that for 49 years, and it led me to a place where I was so unhappy. I was depressed. I was running a family business that I didn't exactly understand how I got there. By saying yes, and I was overweight. I was working for 15, 16 hours a day. um, at that time, I woke up at 5 a.m. I sat on my computer in my home office and until 10, and then I went to the office and stayed there until 8 p.m. Just trying to navigate and solve problems, and that was my days every day for years. Even I was at that point. At some point, I had a boyfriend. We were living together, and he even one day I came back from a conference, and he had left me a message telling me, "I'm so sorry, I cannot do this anymore." And he had left, and
Okay.
and the most interesting part was that my first thought was relief, because I was so depressed and stressed that it felt to me at the time that it was one less problem to have to solve.
Mhm.
And what happened is that I was a couple of months later. I was sitting in my office, and I was we were organizing an event, and in my mind I started thinking of all the things that could go wrong, and then I started spiraling, and I started, my breath became a lot faster. I started, having my heart, beating faster, and I felt like the walls were closing in, and I felt the need to get out of there. And I ran down the stairs and got out, and I started crying and trying to catch my breath. And I was thinking, what's happening to me? And I called my doctor, and he said, you're having a panic attack. And that was my wake up call. It was
Mhm.
that day that I said, I need to do something to change my life.
Mhm.
And from that point, now it's 8 years later,
Mhm.
and I'm a completely different person. 100%. I 100%, not 100%, but I am. I cannot believe that I've been there from
Mhm.
where I am now.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, as a recovering people pleaser myself, I wanted to kind of walk down the path of your journey to from being a people pleaser to, I mean, and I'm assuming like we're like I think the problem with people, like when people pleasers start saying no or they start choosing themselves or putting themselves first over others, one of the things that we really struggle with is the feeling of like, oh, I'm selfish, right? Because I'm choosing this instead of helping the other person. And so I wanted to talk about your process for how you kind of helped get over that feeling of being selfish rather than, oh, I'm actually just choosing myself and realizing and recognizing that if you are trying to give from an empty cup, like you can't keep giving, right? And so the mindset shifts that you had to work through in order to go from people pleaser to someone who says yes on your own terms rather than on other people's terms.
Well, for me, it wasn't just feeling that I was selfish. It was also a feeling of being judged,
Mhm.
of if I always try to do what I thought other people wanted for me.
Mhm.
So for me, it wasn't just people pleasing in that sense that we talk about. It was also, I was a chameleon.
Mhm.
So if you told me, I like race cars, I would say, oh, I love race cars.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
would want to know, because I would think that, oh, this is what you enjoy, so let me reinforce that so that you like me.
Mhm.
So my people pleasing was not so much of me being selfish. If I didn't do it, it was that people wouldn't you wouldn't like me.
Mm, mhm,
It was my effort to make you and everybody else like me. I
mhm,
didn't feel worthy enough for myself. Um, um, so I needed to do things for other people so that they like me.
mhm,
So
mhm,
my process was, and I think it's the same thing about people pleasing, is learning to love yourself.
mhm,
So it's another angle, but it's the same thing. It all starts from the same thing. It starts from, we don't believe in ourselves.
mhm,
We don't believe we are worthy.
mhm,
We don't say that with words, but this is where it comes from. So it's about learning to love yourself,
mhm,
and giving yourself permission to to be you,
mhm,
and don't, not caring, and that's not selfish.
mhm,
Because if you're not okay, if you're not if you're not well yourself, you cannot, if even if you take it for the people pleasing, if you want to help others, you cannot help others unless you're okay yourself.
Mhm.
Because after a while, you will burn out.
Mhm.
If you're just doing things for others,
Mhm.
you will burn out. but
Mhm.
but it's really, I don't think it's an easy thing to do. We can discuss it like I say, oh yes, you need to learn to love yourself. It's baby steps.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one conscious decision, uh, um, step. Every one step, and then another one, and a very small one that just gives you the confidence,
Mhm.
and to feel, okay, I said no, or um, I didn't do what you wanted me to do,
Mhm.
and I didn't die. Nobody died.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the fear is, when we start this journey of saying yes to ourselves first, right? And when we start this journey of self-love, I think the fear is because, what you had said about wanting to make other people happy, or like get like you want them to like you, right? So you do all these things to make other people like you, but then you end up like not liking yourself, and so there's like kind of a resentment there, but it's because we're relying on that external validation for our sense of self-worth, and so it's really about flipping that and going inside. But there's still, like, when you first start doing that, there's definitely some fear associated with that, because now all of a sudden you're not doing things specifically to make other people happy, and then a lot of the time they don't like that, right? And so what was your experience with that as you started to say no to people, or as you started to learn to choose yourself first? And what are the ways that you help people get over that fear of having people not like you, or having people, like, the worst thing that you can or hear as a pleaser is like, you've changed, you've changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that in, when I was still running, my company, the my
Yeah.
our head accountant told me, after a while, "Oh, little boss," she was calling me. She had a very nice sense of humor. So I liked you best when you weren't shouting, and you were never angry before. I liked you better than. But when you, uh, 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 you as I said, it's just baby steps. You
Mhm.
just need to take one decision at a
Mhm.
time. And
Mhm.
I can tell you a very specific story from my experience. When I started, you know going through this process, and I had another job except from running the company. I also worked as a production assistant in a very famous Greek singer.
Oh.
So one, yeah, and that I had I've been in this business for 25 years. I'm still there, but I'm also but this is now a really part-time job. But
Mhm.
that summer, I was because I was so involved in the family business, I had let another woman take part of my um, job, because I
Mhm.
couldn't do everything. But at the end of the summer, we had a very important concert, which was the most. So we were both there, and
Mhm.
I went to pick up my credential card, so that my pass to get
Mhm.
into the venue.
Mhm.
And instead of, it didn't say production assistant, it said auto cue handler.
Oh.
And it was one of the jobs that I did too, but it
Mhm.
wasn't that. And I was so, it was like somebody crushed my ego, and And I was thinking, why did they do that? Don't they know what I do? I've been doing this. I was really, feeling so bad about my,
Mhm.
and judging myself and the others. I did my job, and then I said, well, I've said that I will no longer accept, and I will defend myself.
Mhm.
So I said, I'm going to let the production know. But of course, I couldn't just go and tell them. I wasn't ready for that. So I
Mhm.
wrote. I wrote a very big message on my phone. I
Mhm.
read it 100 times, and then I said, "Okay, I'm going to send it." And I sent it. And I felt, oh my God, what are they going to say? And then I started thinking, what are they going to be mad? Is it right that I send it? 100 questions coming to my
Mhm.
head about,
Mhm.
did I do the right thing, or was it the wrong decision? And
Mhm.
and of course they replied quite not, it didn't take a long time for them to reply,
Mhm.
fortunately, because I think I would have died. And they said,
Mhm.
we're so sorry, we really value you, and it was a mistake, it will never
Mhm.
happen again. We of course know how important you are and what your job is. And I'm saying this, the whole story, because it was one of the first times that I stood up for myself,
Mhm.
and it was hard. But what I learned was actually two things. The one thing is that um, I didn't die by doing
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and also I would have never known that it was a mistake, and that
Yeah.
it so it was a very nice lesson for me, and this
Mhm.
is how we learn. That's what you need, to take the step and see what happens.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you have any examples where I don't want to say that it backfired, but where you did stand up for yourself and then it ended up like not in such a great situation, like you lost a friend or you lost a partner or something like that? Or how do we deal with those situations? Because that also happens.
Yes, it happened, but um, but you know what? If it happens, then it's not really true. Relationships must be based on authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
and on love
Mm-hmm.
and on understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So if the other person doesn't, if the other person loves you, even maybe there will be a conflict, but after a while, if there's mutual love and authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
then the other person will get you.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, then it wasn't worth it to start with. There are so many relationships, especially when you're a people pleaser, that are not
Mm-hmm.
based on authentic feelings and mutual understanding. And we need um, to set our boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and to understand each other.
Yeah. It can still be really painful though when you have to let those people go, you know? Like it can be really, really easy to kind of fall back into old patterns and just be like, okay, I just want to keep the peace, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so, like, learning
Yeah,
to take a stand for yourself can and like just be recognizing that okay, like this is a one-sided relationship and it's actually not serving me, right? Because a
yeah,
relationship has to go both ways and it has to
exactly.
serve both people, otherwise it's not a relationship, right? It's just one
Exactly.
person using and abusing the other person. And so recognizing that and then having the ability to let it go, it's like it's still painful though, it's not easy.
It is painful, and yeah, it's not easy.
Mhm.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not
Mhm.
easy,
Mhm.
but it's part of the process. And when you move forward and see it as a situation in the past, then you will definitely understand why.
Mhm.
And most of the times you will be grateful, because it is relationships and situations like that are not worth um, uh, are not worth your effort if it's only you who is doing an
Yeah,
effort.
exactly, exactly, yeah. I've had to learn that a few times with a few different people, and I'm like, "Okay, thank you, universe, for the lessons," you know? And now that I recognize, like, even though it was very, very painful in the moment, I'm kind of like, "Okay," like, I'm grateful that I had these experiences because now I'm a stronger person because of it, right? And now I know, like, how to set boundaries. I mean, I think everything is a work in process or
Yeah.
progress. But yeah, like I have a better understanding of how to set boundaries, and I'm definitely better at saying no to things and being like, actually, I'm not okay with this than I used to be. But they were very painful lessons in the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Hmm.
that there are, but yeah, but this is unfortunately or fortunately, this is how we learn.
Hmm.
And we don't learn unless we go through it. That's the other
Hmm.
thing. Unless we go through the experience, we won't learn, and that's why things happen again and again and again until we can see, we can distinguish what's right from wrong for us,
Hmm.
so that we can step up to our authenticity. I think that's the main thing.
Hmm. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about like authentic living, but also working through burnout because I think you specifically are working with women, it sounds like. And so, women who are experiencing burnout, and how does that relate to whether or not we're expressing ourselves authentically? Because I think, in my personal experience, when we try to hide ourselves or keep ourselves small, right? There's a lot of energy that goes into that actually, and trying to keep ourselves small while also projecting another person to the outside world to make everybody else happy, right? And then at a certain point you just collapse into a panic attack um as you did. And so how do you work with women to kind of figure that out?
Well, it goes back again to what we said before.
Mhm.
It's about um, trying to be. It is about self worth again. It is
Mhm.
about people pleasing. It is about perfectionism. It is about
Mhm.
um, so if you live a life where you try to meet other people's expectations, and sometimes it's not only other people's expectations, it's yours.
Mhm.
You are trying to stand up to a level that you think you should be.
Mhm.
So sometimes you are the strong one, you are the one who holds everything together for your family, your business, a- and this is how you burn out, because this, as you said, requires so much energy.
Mhm.
And what happens is that at some point you lose yourself.
Mhm.
So 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 the first thing is to acknowledge where you are,
Mhm.
because what happens is that a lot of times we move through life on autopilot, so we
Mhm.
go day in day out doing all that stuff, and we don't um, sit for a moment to realize what our life is really like.
Mhm.
It's we're you, we wait, we go from one day to the next, and we hope that one day we will relax, or we will arrive
Mhm.
somewhere, and
Mhm.
this place never arrives.
Mhm.
A- and and there comes a time or a point where you say, where am I and who am I?
Mhm.
But in order to do that, you need to, the first thing is to stop before life makes you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the most, because otherwise sometimes more, for me life made me to
Yeah.
do that, so you have to do that before life makes you.
Mhm.
And when you do, the first thing is to figure out what it is that you want
Mhm.
for you,
Mhm.
and then take it one step at a time to get there.
Mhm.
But the trouble is, like with me, is that the many times when you are at this point where you're burnout, overstressed, you don't know what you want,
Mhm. Well, and
because you have
also
you have a yeah you have abandoned yourself so much that you have forgotten who you are.
that's exactly what I was just gonna say. It was
Yeah,
like, how do you even know what you want when you don't even know who you are, right? Like, you can't
yeah,
possibly know. And
yeah,
I really like what you said about like life being on autopilot, right? Because like our lives in the West anyways, our lives are so busy and chaotic, right? And I mean, it's work, it's kids, it's family, it's, extracurricular obligations. I mean, and I think, constantly I put it behind the computer just so I couldn't see it, but constantly like being on this device all the time and having all of these things hitting our brain all the time. Like it's not conducive to actually being like just sitting with yourself and learning about who you are, right? And so like that's why I think a lot of people are not used to, or especially in the West, we're not used to just being by ourselves, and just like I'm just going to sit with myself and be content to sit with myself and learn about myself, right? Like I do it quite a bit. I'm by myself all the time, so I'm very comfortable being alone. But I think for a lot of people, it makes them uneasy because they're not used to it, right? They're not used to it. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, I think that's the best way to get to know yourself is be by yourself and just sit there.
yeah. There is a famous quote. I don't remember by who said it, but he actually said that all the people's trouble begin because nobody can sit by themselves for
Yes.
some time.
Mhm.
So, and I think that um, uh, COVID lockdown brought this, you know, um, forward.
Mhm.
Somebody, so many people had
Yeah.
to to face themselves.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And I
Eh,
think actually COVID really brought about like I think a lot of people quit their jobs during COVID because they were finally sitting with themselves and they're like, I actually hate this, Like, I do not, this is not fulfilling in any way, shape, or form. And so I think there was a lot of restructuring about how we live our lives after COVID when we realized that a lot of what we do is not in service to ourselves, And so,
yeah, exactly. So yes, you're right that in order to, you need to have some time by yourself
hmm
in order to figure out who you are and what you want. Uh, and but if you're in a place that you have no idea,
hmm
uh, you can start by what you don't want.
hmm That's
So
true, right? You
yes,
might not know what you do want,
yeah,
but you can definitely identify the things that you
yeah,
don't want.
exactly. So start there.
Mhm.
This is the so because it's scary, I know from personal experience. I was there. It's really scary to realize that you have no idea what makes you happy and what you want. I
Mhm.
didn't know, if you had asked me 8 years earlier, what makes you happy? I couldn't I didn't know.
Mhm.
I didn't know. I was depressed. I was
Mhm.
depressed, so I didn't know that there was nothing that made me happy at the time.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
food. Maybe food.
That's
But
funny.
you cannot say, "Oh, food makes me happy." And there was nothing, real.
Yeah, but I also think that's probably why a lot of people use food as like a crutch for their happiness, is because internally they don't know what makes them happy. And so then they just turn to food for this like dopamine hit, right? And
And
food can really become addicting for people as a way to, it's like a coping mechanism, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But when you start from what you don't want, it's a step.
Mm-hmm.
It's a s- it's a step to realize where you are and realize that there are things in your life that you don't want,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can take it from there.
Yeah.
And as you it's a conscious when you make the conscious decision that you want to change the things that you don't want, then this is a very big step.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, in your journey, you said it took about 9 years to get from where you were to where you are today. Um, how do you help people to continue? Because sometimes we don't always see the changes right away, right? And so then we're like, I'm just going to give up. And so, how do you coach people through that when they feel like there's no progress?
Wait, you I'm you cannot yeah, the progress isn't immediate, and I never promise that.
Mm-hmm.
But you will see the signs. You will see the signs. I saw signs in the first 3 months because I started taking steps. I
Mm-hmm.
started making deliberate steps to the direction that I wanted. So even though I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, even if it was far away,
Mm-hmm.
I could see the progress because once you decide, you start making you start moving.
Mhm.
So maybe it won't be from one day. You cannot just if you hate your job and you have nothing else, you cannot say, "Well, I quit and now I'm homeless," or whatever. You
Yeah.
cannot do that. So you need
Yeah.
to start, but you can start taking steps into the direction that you want,
Mhm.
and every step counts, and you need to remind yourself it's celebrating the steps. For me, it's I
Mhm.
have a there's an exercise called the mirror exercise,
Mhm.
which every night you stand in front of the mirror,
Mhm.
and you talk to yourself out loud, and you say, good hi Myrto. If I talk
Mhm.
to my today, I want to tell you how proud of you I am of you, because you did this and this and this and this. You woke
Mhm.
up in the morning. You went you went to work. You did this, and then in the end, and this must be at least 1 minute.
Mhm.
And in the end, you said, "And what I want to tell you, Myrto, is that I love you."
I've heard this.
And yes, and you need to do this for 40 consecutive days.
Mhm. Okay.
If you fail one, you start over. And for
Okay.
some people, it's really hard. But when you start doing that, then you start to realize how many things you do. You also build some self-awareness, because
Mhm.
how many times we dismiss what we do in a day, and
Mhm.
we say, "Oh, we didn't do anything. Oh,
Mhm.
that was nothing. Oh,
Mhm.
okay, did that's nothing."
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, even for me, like, even for me, I remember I was married at the time, right? And so, like, I graduated from, we both graduated from university, and he was really upset with me because, like, I didn't want to go to my graduation party. And he's like, this is a big deal. And for me, I was like, well, I didn't really consider it a big deal, you know? And so it's just like, even for me, I struggle to celebrate. And that's not like a small thing, It's not a small thing, right? And I was like, I don't want to celebrate this. But so I think it's important to remember. I think it's important to remember to like not only celebrate the big things, but celebrate the little things that you do on a daily basis, right? To keep encouraging yourself and like being your own cheerleader.
Exactly. So this is a very important part when you start changing your life.
Mhm.
To be aware of the steps that you took today.
Mhm.
Today I did this.
Mhm.
I did this. I wouldn't have done that before. This is for me. I did
Mhm.
this for me.
Mhm.
Even if it's a small step, it can
Mhm.
be walking for 10 minutes outside, or having coffee with a friend when in the park for half an hour, whereas in the past you would have never done that.
Mhm.
It can be um, drinking tea by yourself and not listening to anybody else. Or,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually one of my favorite rituals in the morning is just like drinking coffee to the silence of the house, like no one else is up and I'm just like here by myself and I just like enjoying I mean, now it's also winter time, right? So it's dark until like almost 9 a.m. But, like, the house is, like, pitch black, and then I just, like, enjoy my coffee and look out the window, and just, like, the silence is so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a great ritual,
Mhm.
and you know how many people don't do that? They just get up and rush out.
Yeah, or get up and scroll and then rush
Yeah,
out. Like,
yeah,
no, I can't do I used to be like that. I used to be like that because I was always hitting the snooze button for work and stuff. And so then I would just like get out of bed and rush into the shower and like run out the house or whatever. And now like I have a few rituals, right? Like making the bed is a ritual, like showering and washing the sleep off is a ritual, and then like making my coffee is a ritual, right? And so these are the things and that's how I start my day, right? It's like setting the intention for the day. And when I
mm,
am not able to do that, I definitely notice my energy is off,
yeah,
like my energy is off, my attitude, I guess, is off, because it's like I didn't have that grounding kind of ritual in the morning.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now you reminded me. At that time, another thing that I started doing was in the shower, um, trying to find one thing that I looked forward in the day.
Mm.
And I have to tell you, at the beginning, I couldn't find anything. The only thing that I could think of was coming back home, eat, and binge watch TV.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, so I'm saying this because uh, I get how some people will say, "Well, there's nothing in my life that I like right now."
Mhm,
But it's when you start doing that, you train your mind slowly to start seeing things.
mhm. Yeah, and I think that's, like, what a lot of people say about, like, keeping a gratitude journal, and so when you're really in a low place, like, keeping a gratitude journal, and it can just be, the simplest things, like, I'm grateful that I have hot water to shower,
Exactly.
or I'm grateful for, my cozy bed,
Yeah.
or those kinds of things. And once you start identifying those small things, then your brain starts looking for the bigger and bigger things. And then your list goes from like one or two or three things to like a whole page of things that you're grateful for.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Mhm.
And the sometimes I talk about gratitude, like it's cliche, but it's
It
not. It's not.
Mhm.
It really changes your energy with time,
Mhm.
and it is a very important part of getting out of any situation that you feel stressed or
Mhm.
um, of overwhelm.
Mhm.
Gratitude is a very important part of that. Even when
Mhm.
you feel that there's nothing there, there is.
Mhm.
And if you push yourself a bit, because I don't want, for me, pushing and having is I am. It stresses me even now because and I think that every every woman who has been a good girl or a people pleaser or a perfectionist doesn't like the idea of being pushed
Mhm.
or to do something more.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And I really get that. But when it is towards the right direction and something that will actually help you, it can be very small things that you can start doing.
Mhm.
And gratitude is one of them.
I think gratitude is one of them, and also learning to observe your thoughts without
Mhm. Yeah.
judgment, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so because everybody has a running commentary in their head at all times, right? And so when I learned to, instead of thinking that these are my thoughts, it's like, okay, this is a thought that is running through my brain, right? And so like learning to observe it from a third party perspective and kind of like, huh, like that's interesting. Where's that coming from? And then like that kind of separates you from the negativity a little bit. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like I see that I'm afraid of this thing happening. Like, why am I afraid of that? What can I do to not be afraid of that anymore, you know? And that has really also helped me to maintain positive mindset rather than allowing myself to spiral down.
Yeah, I've done a talk about that in the past, and I called my negative thinker Mr. Magoo. And it's if you can find somebody, you can name your negative thinking like
Mhm.
that, which makes it funny. It can be a
Mhm.
little bit funny, and you
Mhm.
can it will help you to look at it with a different perspective, like
Mhm.
you said. What is it trying to teach me, and
Mhm.
why it's there? and
Yeah.
then and then of course, um thank it, and tell him to go
Yeah.
on
Go
his
away.
way.
Go
Go
away.
go
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm fine. You can
Yeah.
move along now, move
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. I find also it helps me to identify my own fears and insecurities when I think of that, because I think a lot of the time when we judge, I mean, because everybody judges people, right? So a lot of the time when we have judgments of other people, it's oftentimes because we have own fears and insecurities about ourselves, right? So then I try to also take it from I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, why am I thinking these negative thoughts about that person? And I'm like, okay, like, what is this trying to teach me about? Like, what am I insecure about that this person has something that I don't? And then it's like I try to be, rather than judging the person, I try to be happy for that person. I'm like, okay, like this is actually a good sign because you have shown that something's possible, and now it's a reflection of like this is possible and now I can work towards it, rather than judging that person and talking shit about that person because of my own fears and insecurities, or they have something that I don't have or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I love that.
Mhm. That's what I
And it,
found,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I really don't like I try to think about it like if other people are talking shit about me, how does that make me feel, right? Or if other people are judging me, how does that make me feel? Well, it doesn't make me feel very good, you know? So I
mm,
don't want to be I attempt not to be the kind of person that, judges other people harshly. And I try to reflect that back on myself. Okay, what's missing inside of me that I'm having these negative thoughts?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Usually it's yeah, a lot of times it's a reflection about something
Mhm.
that we are insecure of,
Mhm.
or even sometimes it can be somebody who is annoying and nothing more, but
Mhm.
even that is uh tells us something about us.
Yeah, it does. Like, because usually when someone triggers you in some way, right? It helps you to identify your trigger and then figure out, okay, like why is this thing triggering me? And you learn more about yourself that way, right? And then you
Yeah,
also are given the opportunity to grow because of it, right? It's not always easy to think of it that way in the moment,
and
but
yeah,
it does really give you the opportunity to grow and identify your own weaknesses and triggers.
yeah. One thing that I also want to say about that is, even if you if it if you observe your thoughts, and you observe that you have negative thoughts either about you or about another person, um, the best thing to do is not beat yourself up because you're having them, because
Mhm.
sometimes you may think, you may feel guilty, or
Mhm.
you may think, oh, I shouldn't be having those thoughts, oh,
Mhm.
that's bad, I
Mhm.
shouldn't be saying these things to myself or about somebody else. If you just observe them, like you said, and you
Mhm.
say, "Oh, look what I'm thinking again. This is what I'm thinking about me. Oh, look what," and you just let them be.
Yeah.
They just go. They vanish.
Yeah.
If you become um, if you have so if you come attached to them, and you try to stop them
Mhm.
because they are bad,
Mhm.
then you get stuck with them
Yeah.
more. So
Yeah.
it's being the observer, is just being the observer without judgment.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
the
and I
best, yeah, yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead,
No,
continue.
no, 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 no. I just said that it's the best thing you can do is just try to be just the observer, and not not um categorize,
Mhm.
this is a good thought, this is a bad thought, I shouldn't
Mhm.
be thinking this, I should be
Mhm.
thinking that, I
Mhm.
am a bad person, or whatever, because we
Mhm.
do that too. It's a negative thought on a negative thought.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's what gets you to spiral downward, right? Because it's like you're judging someone and then you're judging yourself for judging someone and then you're like, "Oh, I'm a horrible person," and blah 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 blah. And
Yeah,
it just brings you down, but right, like when you observe the thought without judgment and you don't judge the thought and you don't judge yourself for having the thought, that's when it can just like and yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't internalize.
Yeah, it's saying, well, it is what it is.
Mhm.
This is who I am at this moment, or what I'm thinking at this moment. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, what can I learn from it?
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah. Because we the most interesting thing is that we judge ourselves a lot harder than how we judge other people.
Mhm. Yeah, we are our own worst critics, actually.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I say this often, that we if we talk to other people the way we talk to ourselves, we wouldn't have any friends.
Oh, exactly, exactly. And I think
Imagine.
I think the interesting thing too is that like everybody thinks that everybody's talking about them and I'm like, guys, like nobody cares because everyone else is so worried about what everyone else is thinking about. Like you just no one gives a shit about you what you're doing in this exact moment, you know? Like and they have to kind of like, "Oh, I'm not the center of the universe." you know?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
so, yeah, there's a lot
mm,
of I think there's a lot of fears of other people's judgment, and then you have to realize, like, no one is giving you that much attention, don't worry about it. Just be yourself.
yeah. We are the ones that are giving too much attention to ourselves and
Mhm,
think that everybody else is going to judge us. But
mhm,
another thing is, um, what would you say to your best friend if she did or he did a mistake?
mhm.
What would you tell them? What would your advice be? And do that to yourself as well, because when we would you would say, oh, nobody, it's okay, don't worry about it, that's
Yeah,
what you
like
say to your friend. Don't worry
yeah,
about it, nobody cares, don't
yeah,
worry about it, and okay, learn from it, and you
and
know
move on, you
and
know?
move on. And
Yeah,
and 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 to ourselves, we just keep punishing ourselves and
yeah,
think
yeah,
100 times, oh, I said this was the wrong way, and I should have said that, and I should have done that, and
yeah,
oh, I'm a bad person, oh, I should do this, oh, my hair, look at how it is, not
yeah,
we judge our external
yeah,
image, our external behavior, our thoughts, everything. But if we were our best friend, we would say something completely different, and we would mean it.
yeah,
We wouldn't just say it just to say it
yeah,
to our friend. We wouldn't say to our friend, it's okay just to say
mhm,
it. It's because that's what we believe.
mhm,
It's
yeah,
not that important.
yeah. I have to tell this to myself a lot of the time when I'm DJing as well, because like obviously I'm there and I want to do my best and I want to make people happy and stuff. And, for me, it's art. And so I want it to be perfect. Right. And then, I'll make a mistake and I'll be like, I used to beat myself up all the time about it. But it's just like, people are still dancing, the world is still turning and nobody cares, as long as you're putting good energy out there and making them happy, like nobody cares about that little mistake, right? And you have to recognize that it's like it's bigger, you're making it bigger in your own mind and no one else notices.
Nobody notices what kind of mistake, like you're talking about putting the wrong track or at the wrong speed, or
Yeah,
what did you
yeah,
mean?
like
The
I don't know,
sound.
I like a transition didn't come off
Yeah,
the way that I thought it would or something. I tried an experiment and it didn't quite work out or whatever, and I'm like, "Whoops," like,
yeah,
"Sorry." Like,
yeah, I have to tell you, nobody notices.
nobody the other DJs notice, but like who cares? We all make mistakes, you know?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have to tell that to myself all the time. It's like, you know what? Like the purpose is to make people happy. And if people are happy and smiling and dancing, then I'm doing my job, And like what's the worst that could happen? Like the music stops playing for a few seconds and it's like, okay, like that's not the end of the world? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. This is a great yeah, this is a great example
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
you share. A
Yeah.
great example. And it
Yeah.
happens with all of us and with everything that we do in our life.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So, I wanted to talk a little bit because there's a couple of terms here that I'm not familiar with. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about Canfield Success Principles and RIM Essentials. What are those and how do you use them to help your clients?
So Jack Canfield wrote a book many years ago. He's a very well known. But first of all, he's one of the writers of the Chicken Soup for the Soul. Most people know this
Oh, yeah,
series.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he wrote a book called The Success Principles,
Mhm.
and which is a book about. It has more than 60, 70 principles on how to live a life where you have a purpose, it's aligned and joyful.
Mhm.
And he trained people to teach the success principles.
Mhm.
So I am one of these trainers,
Okay.
and so it has the main ones that are mostly we teach mostly is taking responsibility for your life. First of all,
Mhm.
you need to, if you want to um have a life that you enjoy, you first of all need to take responsibility for it. You have to stop blaming other people. Even if people did you wrong, at some
Mhm.
point in life you need to start taking responsibility. And then
Mhm.
it's knowing what you want, which of course we said that. Then it's how to set goals
Mhm.
using affirmations and visualizations,
Mhm.
setting boundaries,
Mhm.
um, saying how to say no.
Mhm.
So it's a whole set of tools that you can use, and I use them on one-on-one coaching in workshops,
Mhm.
and you can use them either for personal or for corporate training.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Amazing.
And they're very, very helpful tools. Very
Mhm.
helpful. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And what about RIM
Ri-
essentials? Mhm.
Rim is reimagining images in memory, and this is a method that was invented by Dr. Deb Santella,
Mhm.
and it's a session where it's very helpful if you are stuck, or if you have a trauma or something in the past,
Mhm.
and you use your senses and your body with eyes closed, where
Mhm.
you revisit the not necessarily the situation, or it can be a fear that you have of anything, and but you use this technique to reimagine um another way of being.
Mhm.
So it's a very quick way, very, very quick way to get rid um, blocks that you may have.
Mhm. Okay.
And I got certified because I experienced it myself.
Mhm.
So I had during my conflict training, there was an exercise that we did on guilt and resentment,
Mhm.
and I was carrying something for 20 years. So during the exercise, which was one on one on a Zoom session, I just talked about it to the other person, and then I broke down,
Mhm.
and I couldn't stop crying, and the team put me with the specialist, rim specialist,
Mhm.
and I had a session with him for an hour and a half, and I was a different person after.
Mhm.
Because, and I said, "Oh my God," and so I haven't taken the advanced course. but it is really, really interesting to work with that.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's I'm always interested actually in like these different techniques and different modalities for helping people to get over traumas. Um because I like the way that we tend to deal with traumas today is talk therapy, and I know I've talked about this in a few other episodes as well, but talk therapy is like the way that is prescribed, and it's also like the way that's covered by insurance, right? And so it encourages people to go that route into talk therapy because that's what their insurance will pay for, right? And then I'm just sitting there thinking, like, the thing that I always think about is that, because the brain cannot tell the difference between something that you're thinking about and something that you're experiencing, right? And so
Mhm.
when you keep revisiting that trauma through talk therapy over and over and over again, you're just re traumatizing yourself over and over and over again. And so it's like, no wonder therapy, like people can be in therapy for years and not be healed, is because all they're doing every week when they go is re-traumatizing themselves. And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of like, why is it that we have set up a system where the, alternative modalities that actually help to heal people and move on, like those are not the things that are prescribed and covered by insurance. And so then, a lot of people don't have access to these modalities because they have to pay for it out of pocket. And that's
Mm.
something that it really annoys me.
Mm. This is a very big discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's things like the RIM essentials, or things like hypnotherapy, or even things like acupuncture and things like that.
Yes.
Like all of this stuff is not covered. And all of this stuff, like, it's scientifically proven that it can help in many, many situations. And the fact that it's not covered and we're not giving people access to these things for healing, it really irks me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that, but it is what it is.
It is what it
Unfortunately,
is. Yeah,
unfortunately, the good thing is that now you can at least find out. It's easy to find out alternative methods if
mhm.
you want to,
Mhm.
um, and there are a lot of people who can help.
Mhm.
Also, there's so many
Yeah.
who can really help, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
and so many different modalities as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think like it's fascinating to me the different ways that you can like get at the root of the trauma, so yeah, lots of different options out there.
Yeah, it's true, and you never know which one will work for you because
Mhm.
not all methods work for everybody.
Mhm. Yeah, some people
You have to
respond
yeah,
in different ways.
you have to find what's right for you. But
Mhm.
if one thing doesn't work, don't stay there.
Mhm.
Try something different. Uh,
Yeah.
I also say I also quote Einstein, who says, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and again and try and expecting a different result."
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly.
So
So,
yeah,
yeah, no, that I like that quote. I said so that's a good one.
yeah.
You either have a book out or you will soon have a book out. It's called As I Am: How to Stop Overthinking and Start Being. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that book?
No, this is a book very close to my heart. It is. I go through my story, but together with my story, I have all these tools and and um, moments to pause and questions to for the reader to ask themselves
Mhm.
so that they can they can walk with me through the process that I went to go from the time that I was really stuck and
Mhm.
where I was
Mhm.
to where I am today.
Mhm.
so and it has all the tools that somebody will need to to get there.
Mhm.
It takes time. You it's something that you can have with you and revisit.
Mhm.
uh, it's For me, it's going from not be feeling worthy and enough to feeling enough and more, and living a life being more present and find things in your everyday life that bring you joy.
Mhm.
And this is through being present. So yeah, and like you said, by starting to being aware of our thoughts,
Mhm.
not judging them,
Mhm.
and um and I give examples of how your life can change when you do that.
Mhm.
And I Yeah, and it's for me it's funny because I tell stories about frustrating moments that stay, because I am not, what I'm saying is we have so many books that are written by gurus or spiritual teachers,
Mhm.
or coaches who seem to have everything figured out. And for me, I don't believe that you ever figure everything out.
Mhm.
So life is a working progress,
Yeah.
and you will have ups and downs,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I don't claim to have all the answers. I
Mhm.
think that life is a journey,
Mhm.
and we need to learn to enjoy the journey. We will have bad days or bad weeks, even bad months,
Yeah.
but it's how you navigate through them.
Yeah. I think one of the most interesting things that I realized on my own journey was realizing, like, when I my journey of adulting, and adulting is just like pretending that you know what you're doing and you really don't. So when I realized that nobody knows what they're doing, I'm like, "Oh, okay. At least I'm not the only one." We're all just like 7-year-olds running around in adult bodies not knowing what we're doing. I'm like, "Okay." Like,
And the secret is to, if you can learn to be comfortable with not knowing.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. I don't claim to be there yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes I am more there. Some of the times I'm not. But I cannot say that I'm. Yeah. But this is life.
Yeah.
I say often that life is a learning playground. And
Mhm.
if we look at children, if we could act like children,
Mhm.
we would be so much happier.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I That's what I aim for, honestly. Like, I recently got out of a pretty toxic situation, and like, almost immediately, like, people were like, "Oh, like, there's like a huge shift in your energy." And now I just spend my time trying to be as childlike as possible because it brings me joy. You know what? And I'm just like, "Yeah, this is what life should be, joyful, and kids know how to do it." So I have 2 nephews and 2 nieces, and they all, like, they teach me how to be a child again, and I'm like, "This is good, This is good."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
So,
That's the way to go. That's the way to
yeah.
go.
Yeah. So we are almost at the end of our time now. Are there any other messages or any other topics you would want to cover before we wrap things up?
Well, mm, no, not really. The only thing that I want to say is what we just said. Enjoy the journey. For
Mhm.
me, this is life is about not taking ourselves so seriously.
Yeah.
We have to stop taking ourselves, because it's that's that's where the joy is. It's be more spontaneous,
Mhm.
try new things. Uh, don't stay stuck on what you're doing. Think outside the box.
Mhm.
Um, be silly.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah, just uh, what we will remember in our life was not the times that we did what we had to, but when we did all the naughty things.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I think, sometimes we get in our own way because we have this like set idea, right? Like we're programmed to think that life has to be a certain way and you have to do a certain things. And then when you have this idea, like, oh, like I want to travel to Fiji or whatever, and people are like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, why not? And so when we get into our own heads and we get on our own way of like putting these rules in place, like, well, why can't I do that? Like
Yeah.
no one's telling me other than myself, right? So,
Exactly, exactly.
mhm.
This is the question that I ask myself often now. It is this question. Uh, when I am not, when I stop myself from doing something, or I feel like I need to do something, um, uh, I ask myself, who is saying that?
Mhm.
Who says I need to do that?
Mhm.
And 95% of the time, it's just me putting restricting myself
Mhm.
because of an idea that I have of how I should be or what I should do,
Mhm.
but not from my heart, only my shoulds as a good girl.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I asked this question, who says that? And if it's just me, I don't need to do that, then
Mhm.
I don't do it. That's how I now bring myself back to my authenticity.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is this is what I'm asking myself to do right now aligned with who I truly am
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very true. Like 90% of the time it's us getting in our own way. And so
Exactly.
it's learning to get out of your own way so that you can live the life that you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm doing a workshop
Yes,
on.
I will try to put it out before then so we can advertise it for you.
Thank you. It's on January 10th, 8 a.m. Pacific time,
Okay.
and it's a free workshop, 90 minutes, and I will talk about all the good girl problems
Mhm.
that we talked about and where they come from, and what we can do to start, you know, changing our lives
Yes.
in 2026. Maybe take um, a new step, do something differently.
Yes. Yeah.
Or all these women who I know there are also some. I have a lot of friends who are men and are telling me, "Why only good girls? We are also good boys. We have," and it's true. They
Mhm.
do have the same similar
Yeah.
problems, and I promise to do something for them as well at a
Amazing.
later
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
I relate so much with women who feel pressured
Mhm.
and how who have felt pressured all
Mhm.
lives to perform
Mhm.
and have lost their purpose and
Mhm.
themselves in and they look so many times they look very strong and
Mhm.
independent and having it all together on the outside, and inside they just asking themselves, who am I and what am I doing?
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
that it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, we will make sure to link that workshop in the description below so that people can find it. Where is the best place for people to find you online?
So, one is my website, which is my name, myrtomangrioti.com, and Instagram. My Instagram
Okay.
account, which it's the same handle, Myrto
Okay.
Mangrioti. And there I post daily. I share parts of my book. I give tips. I also share a few things about my life
Mhm.
and sometimes cooking recipes.
Nice.
I haven't done that lately, but yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love cooking. That's
Okay.
another.
So your website, your Instagram, and we will also provide the link for the workshop. So thank you, Myrto, so much for being on the show today. I really loved our conversation. It was so much fun for me. So I hope you enjoyed it as well.
I loved it. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I had a great time, and yeah, I love the insights that you gave too, and your side of the story, which is very similar to mine. I'm guessing,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm also guessing to many of the listeners.
Yeah, yeah, the good girl syndrome runs deep. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're not alone out
Mhm.
there. So get
Yeah.
help. That's
Yes.
that's so that's one thing I want to add. The last thing before we go, ask for help. That's one thing that I never did. I
Mhm.
didn't do that because I thought that I would look weak,
Mhm.
and I didn't, and I also didn't know how. And I
Mhm.
think that it took me a lot longer to get where I am today because I didn't ask for help.
Mhm. But
There
that's
are
the
people.
import
Yeah,
sorry,
there are
that's
people.
the importance of getting a coach, right? Like
Exactly.
you, because you can get to your goals faster.
Exactly. I'm not just talking about the coach. Ask for help in general.
Mhm.
Ask for help. Don't try. You don't have to do it on your own.
Mhm.
Whoever it is,
Mhm. Yeah.
there
Amazing.
there is a way out. You can change your life. That's what I want to say. Even if you believe that you can't, you can change your life. And if you ask for help, you will do it a lot faster.
Mhm. Amazing. Well, on that note, thank you again for being here, and hopefully we can have you back on the show again because there's so much more to unpack when it comes to this topic. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Bye
Yes,
bye.
thank you. Bye.